Hello and welcome to the second episode of Intentionality, where we discuss about purposeful life and work, which is part of life. And today we have Vivek Jayaraman, who is the Chief People's Officer at Lean Pitch, which is a fancy way to say that he's the coach for everyone here. Welcome.
Thank you, Satisha.
So, just to begin with, for our audience, can you tell us about yourself?
As you said, that's my name. I work with Lean Pitch as a people success officer, and then, as the title says, my job is to work with people and help them succeed, be it employees or customers. That's my predominant job role here, and I try to aspire as much as I can.
Okay. So, people success officer. What does people success mean?
Success, as you know, varies between people and depending on what they want to achieve, how they want to achieve, and where they want to go. So it all varies. So as you know, as a business standpoint, as a team, we have to work towards what we want to achieve together. And in that, if we lose track of what people want for themselves, we will not be able to move forward. So it's basically taking one by one, making sure that they achieve, then collectively we achieve, and eventually we also help our customers achieve.
Right.
So in that progress, we achieve results.
You're a cyclist. Cycling is endurance game, and anybody who is into endurance game is there to help you. In a way, help themselves and help others as well. How did you get into cycling?
I started getting in cycling at second standard, I would say. That's when I started learning how to cycle. And right from 7th standard, I got my own cycle, and from on then it's like wherever I want to go, it's always been on my cycle. And after finishing my college graduation, I came searching for job. Then I have to choose public transport because I left my cycle behind. And it's been almost 15-16 years I left cycling behind. Then COVID helped me to gear up again. And as I said, cycling is not a new thing. The only thing is now I enjoy a little bit more than the usual. So that's what interests me.
Why do you cycle?
Initially, when I wanted to get out of my home during my COVID time frame, that's how I get onto cycling. I just want to go somewhere. But mostly police will catch up if you go in the four-wheelers and two-wheelers.
Right.
So cycles are allowed. So I usually wear my cycling gear and then go for as an exercise workout. So go for 10-15 kilometers outside and come back. And somehow it grew on me. So 15 was not enough, 20 was not enough. So that's how it grew like that. So I had some initial challenges like 45, 55, then 100, 150, it has gone now.
So it's the sense of accomplishment. So when you talk about goals are short-term things that one can achieve. For example, you recently participated in Agile and Runners. That is intention. Whereas the purpose is intentionality, which is there lifelong ahead of us, which is never done. So the purpose behind cycling is that fulfillment. Is that what I understand? Now, if you were to relate cycling to the work that you do, how would you club them together? Are they separate?
As a professional runner, you know as well like what I'm talking about. Let's say when we go for endurance, over a period of time body gets tired.
Right.
And eventually we want to give up, but mind somehow says why not run another kilometer, another couple of kilometers. So it usually like that. Maybe I'll stop maybe after 5 kilometers, 10 kilometers, and I keep on pushing myself.
Right.
So that push eventually becomes constant thing in mind. So when we were about to give up in professional personal life, it's like why not struggle a little bit more, achieve it rather than give it up. So it helps.
It helps in the profession. Now, when you do cycle, you do it individually. You have full control. But when you work as a people success officer, it's not you, it's about others. How do you take lessons from cycling and implement in people success?
There are a couple of things in cycling as well, right? So either I'm mostly work as a lone wolf, so I take my cycle because I operate my own. As you said, sometimes that is important for me as a person who want to grow. But eventually, when you want to go long, you cannot go alone. You have to go together. So probably I also work with similar kind of like-minded people where we go together and we also learn when not to give up, like when to boost each other, when we have to go long. So such things which I learned from cycling, eventually I usually implement in my line of work. So that's how I motivate and boost people as well.
Is there some scenario that you can cite where you picked up a lesson from cycling and implemented at the workplace?
One example from cycling first, let me tell you that. Let's say two people are cycling together. One wants to give up. The other person does not say that I'll stand here, I'll watch you moving, so you move on. That's not how it works. I'll come with you, let's go together, how long, let's see. If you want to give up, just watch me. Or perhaps I'll watch you, we go together. So if somebody wants to give up in their work, it's not that I say that just give a pat on their back and say you can do it and then leave the place. No. I'll sit with you, let's see what we can do together, and then we move forward. So that the next time the person wants to give up, the person will imagine the experience of how why not to give up, and that eventually falls in place.
Oh, there is some amount of pragmatism there. It's very easy to say I want to pat them on the back, but it's quite possible there is a reason why the person is not able to move ahead at this moment in time. But looking at the other person do, that might actually generate inspiration. There was an episode at Ride London Essex and you faced some challenges. Talk to us about it.
So it was in the middle, I would say, because it was 160 kilometers over 100 miles. During the 75th, because there was a very good progress. I was leading in the top 100 almost, because my timing was quite right. And eventually, when I was shifting the gears, the high gear mechanism got broken on my left side. I was trying to switch gears, it didn't happen, and the gear got stuck in the highest gear, possible gear. So possibly, even if I want to go slow, I will not be able to, because it puts strenuous amount of effort on my thighs and my knees. So probably I have to stick to riding fast, and actually that takes much of my energy as well. So eventually I had to stop at 90 kilometers, where I can show my cycle to the person who repairs, because there is a repair shop set up there. So that person investigated and said that if it is a cable, I would be able to replace. But if it is a mechanism, it's broken, I cannot repair it now, there is no point. So he gave me a choice. Either I can set you on a high gear, or I can set you whatever the gear you want. So I chose the middle one, because that's comfortable either on low speeds as well as high speeds. So I stick to that, and then whatever I could salvage in the last moment with my energy to complete it, I finished in 7 hours class.
What was the feeling after finishing?
Because I've been practicing this cycling for almost 3.5 years, this long distance cycling, it eventually teaches you things, which means that anyways that mindset is already there. I'm not going to give up, because I'm already in London, I am there for cycling. Even if I have to run along with my cycle, I'm going to finish it anyways. So which means that gives you the chance of not thinking outside to give up, but to how to complete it. So the focus on thinking like what can make me complete this, because that's my purpose, why I'm there. So that actually gave me an idea of how to do it, why to do it, etc. So that helped me finish it well.
I can see a lot of lessons from there that can be carried over to the work. So it's not really aiming high, nor giving up. So whatever is possible at that moment in time, let's finish it.
Yes, the balance.
Balance.
Because I cannot lose my energy as well as I cannot slow as well. So kind of I have to balance between these.
These are like situations where you need to make tough decisions. I'm sure that translates to the workplace as well. Right? So if you were to help someone develop that mindset as a people success officer, what are the things that you will do to develop that mindset of making toughest decisions?
Post-COVID, as a company, we have started developing, not developing, but ingraining the kind of mindset that people should take up some kind of physical activity. So because as we both learned that endurance can give wonders about how can you strengthen your mind very well, that actually helps our people as well. So we ourselves stood as a role model where we drive people there. It's not like, again, as I told you before, it's not like you go and do it while I sit in my chair. It's not like that. So I do it. If you want, you can join me as well. Or perhaps if you want to do it, I will support you as well. So that's how we operate. So that kind of helped. Almost 30% of people have taken up physical sport after this, and we are encouraging other people to take it up as well. And I'm sure that next year at least 70 or 75% of people will pick it up.
So what I hear from you is, it is good. There are lessons from the physical activities. but we cannot really do it ourselves and then take that lesson and then implement for others. Others have to learn their own lessons.
Exactly.
So instead of me telling them this is what I learned, encourage them to pick up an activity and then let them learn. So physical activity generally builds better minds.
Exactly, Sudhisha. See, you take up running. I know I can run, but I don't want to run because running does not give me that sense of fulfillment that you have. So cycling gives me one. Like take example of other employees here with us. I mean, some of them want to go to gym. Some of them doesn't want to take strenuous effort, but they can walk for a long time. They're just going for walking for even 2-3 hours straight. So which means whatever gives them a sense of accomplishment and fulfillment in terms of a physical activity, they are doing it. And we are encouraging it. If they certainly need help, I mean, we are there to coach. So that's how it is.
So you are an agile coach as well, right? How did you get into agile coaching?
Then I have to rewind the clock 11 years back. So in 2012, when I was working for a product company, the first thing they said is tomorrow we are going to change things a little bit. So we are going to meet up every day morning, 15 minutes. We'll gather around, discuss the work just like the construction workers does in the morning. So they discuss what work we are going to do today and then it gets started. I was just curious where these people copy this from because most probably if they say something we are going to do tomorrow, it's not innovation. It's copying somewhere. Eventually you will know. So out of curiosity, it started looking up things and I learned that it's called as daily scrum and it's not 15 minutes. So and 15 minutes, there should be a proper way of doing this, not just discussing today's schedule or agenda. So that curiosity led me to learn Scrum by myself first and to see how it can, first I have to learn what is it first of all and then how it can help me help with my team how to implement it. So that curiosity drove me further to take up CSM certification first with Linkage in 2014. So that's where my curiosity level got even further increased, learning more about Scrum. So getting into communities, breaking my head about further learning, how to learn more from this, etc. drove me further to take up the role called Scrum Master. Right after the workshop was over, I spoke to my manager, got that role done because I want to play that role. I was doing a little bit of work here and there that could translate to the responsibilities of a Scrum Master. So I want to do a full-time Scrum Master role. So I asked him, so he said, let's try it out if it works because in our organization we are still not doing Scrum. So we started implementing that initially and then it started giving results. Then probably I wanted to learn more about team building, how to bring more agility into my line of work, etc. And we were part of Play Scrum's community where we meet once in a month. Then we started working on social projects for social scrums. There are lot many other things that we did as a community, and being part of the community actually helped me learn more in terms of what to do. Then apart from finishing my roles and responsibilities as a Scrum Master within a team level, I kind of got bored about what to do next. So that drove me further to adopt coaching, learn more about facilitation, etc. Then I started looking outside of team. Then I saw that there is a Himalayan work that needs to be done in the organization level, there more at a team level. So I started getting into more activities at the program, product, organizational levels to work more on the system side and product management side, helping people further to get into that. So in that line helped me to take up more competencies as a coach. So that's my journey.
So one thing that I picked from here is, many a times people talk about, daily stand-up, that's a bad thing. But something that might be a starting point. Of course, it may be a bad thing at times as well when you look at it from the perspective of achieving a bigger purpose. You might have heard of, when you go to gym trainer does not make you lift from day one. So you need to start somewhere, maybe basic steps. It could be boring, it could be simple, but that gets you on a path to achieving greater things. So something like Daily Scrum, which evoked curiosity, that led to a lot of learning, and then get into a purposeful life, right?
Curiosity always stands as a base for learning.
Curiosity not only kills cats, but it kills human beings also. Good. Okay, so now that you talked about profoundly about the path that you took, how do you define agility and how do you define coaching?
Agility for me at a personal level, if you ask me, ability to adapt to dynamic situation, ever-changing situation. So if I am ready for it, of course we are not ready for it, got to come. But at least if we could take learning from what the situation is, where I do fit here, what is my purpose here to do. If I understand everything in a manner, I should be able to adapt myself to any kind of situations, and that's what defines my agility.
So if we go back to the SX Sprinter, that situation, what you demonstrated, you call that as agility?
Of course, yeah. I adapted to that situation because that's a dynamic situation.
That's simple as that. So you talked about adaptation, plus there is purpose. There should be some purpose towards which you are adapting.
Yeah. The thing is, I should have given up there itself. I could stand there, complain that my cycle is not working, and because of that reason. But that's not how life works. So we should be able to see where I want to go, because my purpose of going to London itself to complete the cycling marathon. So if I am unable to do that, then what's the point? So the cycling is not the problem. If I am giving up, it's me. So I don't want to be a problem for myself.
That's agility. That's coaching. How do you define it?
Bringing that mentality into people, helping them to be whatever they want, how do they want to achieve, that's coaching them. There are two things I would define coaching as. First thing is observation and feedback. Like when people come to you for any kind of help, first thing is you observe them as who they are. Because most people fall into judgment trap. Let's say if you would have come to me 3 years back and then said that I want to become a marathon runner. As people who work together, I would have laughed at you, right? And maybe thinking that I was more like a gym goer rather than a cyclist. If I wanted to go for a long distance, you would have laughed at me as well, correct? So that's what it is. As a friendly thing, it's okay. But when it comes to coaching professionally, when people come and tell you like that, if you're still laughing at people on a judgment fact, you are doing something wrong. Coaching is merely an observation. Like you observe people on where do they stand, where do they want to go, currently what are they doing. You just give feedback on perspective on whatever kind of perception that is going on in their mind. Like if I was able to take some learning in my life, because I have changed, because I was a person who used to always focus on the negative aspect of things. Like why it failed. Like if it would have let me a decade back, if I would have gone to SX Center, I would have still stood there, complained about my cycle, rather than to move forward.
Right.
So that mentality, after learning coaching, like it started inner journey in me. So more or less, most people doesn't know how to look inside. So if you could stand as a mirror, help people to get that perspective of how to look themselves up and then correct themselves up in a manner where they can move back with proper feedback. That's coaching.
So what I'm hearing is you are just building a system for them to look within themselves. So of course you're observing, you're giving feedback, but that's not the main intent. Intent is to build a system within which they are looking within themselves.
It's more or less goes step by step, right? First observation, second the process where you build that mirror. Then once they started looking inwards, so there you stay there as again observer, you start giving feedback on what you observe again. So at every step they could course correct whenever they move on.
Right. Do you coach any cyclists?
A couple of them, yes.
So what's the difference that you see between coaching cyclists versus coaching, let's say, software developers?
Coming to profession wise, it differs because I am being a cycling coach. My way of approach on physical fitness, seeing what mental block they have to move forward, it's more or less on the different part. But when it comes to as a, let's say, an agile coach who works constantly with software developers on software development process, again it boils down to the process differently versus the mental block again. It's going to be the same.
So the underlying philosophy is same.
Yeah.
So you're saying techniques may vary, but underlying philosophy
it's the same. So irrespective of running coach, cycling coach, sports coach or agile coach, more or less what we are going to coach will vary, but coaching remains the same.
If you have to recall one biggest challenge or the difficult situation in your life as a coach, something that you can share.
It's mostly when we go beyond teams is where I face challenges, because most of the time as a person who gels with people faster, I find easy to jump into any kind of team and then making me accept them as one of their own. So coaching makes life easier for them also, for me also. But when you go one level above and then, not just one level, levels above, as we go up, getting buy-in for co-creation gets difficult. It's not just one organization that I have faced. I mean, coming from wide varieties of organizations, like I have worked for startups, services, products, etc. Many a time it's always challenging when you go levels and convincing people, like why we have to even do this. Because people come with fixed mindset and then they are always fixated to it. They adapt, I mean, as we speak about agility, personal agility is missing when we go for people who have, like say, static mindset. That they're always fixated on things and then they are not ready to adapt to situations.
People are people, whether they are on the top or on the bottom, people are people.
As I told you, I mean, there is a level which, my level of connect, right? My challenge is here since you asked me. As I told you, working with similar kind of people, I mean, group of people is easy for me. One-to-one challenge, one-to-one coaching is always a challenge for me because sometimes I feel it difficult. I'm still a practicing coach. I'm not say done so long. I mean, but I would say I'm still practicing and challenges do keep coming in. As I already told you, I adapt to situations. So I quickly learn from my mistakes.
So are you saying the challenge is coaching people who are higher level or coaching them?
Coaching people on higher level one-on-one. If I am able to facilitate as a team, I should be able to take over. I mean, I should be able to do a good job. I've done it. But taking them one-on-one and then asking them to imbibe agility in their line of work is difficult.
So am I hearing that, when you have to coach someone, you need to get onto the same level of whatever beliefs that you have. You need to get onto the same level for them to be coachable and then for you to coach. So that means if somebody is very humble, they have that humility when they are on the top, they are coachable.
I mean, as you defined coachable, if they are coachable, it's easy, as you say. So being coachable makes our coaches' life easy.
But you're also saying people are mostly coachable when you are at the same level.
People are willing to listen to what the other person has to say. So it's more or less like this, right? Why am I saying the crowd at the bottom, the teams, the developers are easy because they're young, they're dynamic, their ability to, the willingness to learn is kind of there. But people, once they have accomplished at a level, they think that they know things. And the mentality to change to a newer thing or adapt to a newer thing is kind of takes a backseat. I'm not saying commonly complaining, but since you asked my challenges, so some people I have worked with I found it difficult.
So the personal agility would be missing at that place. Yeah. Describe your day in integrating cycling and life and work. I know all three of them are part of life, but if you were to integrate it, and if I were to look at your day, how does it look like?
The day would be, my day starts early if I want to go for cycling, because many of the days I don't just go for cycling because I have usual day challenges as well. If I have to go for minimum 75 to 80 kilometers per day, my day have to start at 4 o'clock minimum. So I have to wake up early. If I have to wake up early, then I have to go back to bed on previous day much earlier. So wake up early, then preparation work, that takes half an hour, then probably leave for cycling, then come back in 3-4 hours max. And if you want to start your day early, and then probably if you have to take first half of the day for yourself, then probably you need your family support. Probably you are leaving your kids to school and things you have to work on. Your spouse has to support it as well. So probably you have to got it covered. So not all days you get that support, but at least on days that where you have to challenge yourself, you need support. So first half of the day is done, then you have to come get back, and your day will be brisk. Like till 4:30 your day will go on brisk, but that's the next level. So when you work out in the morning, that gives you enormous amount of energy to run, so that my work day gets easier for me. I don't have to hog or slog anywhere. I don't get sleepy in the afternoon if I have to go for early morning run cycling around. Coming back is the evening work is the hardest part. So after 4:35 you will get your energy levels start going down. Yeah. So probably you may have to hit bed early. But if you ask me how my work life goes on, it's kind of more energetic, I would say, if I have to take the morning workout.
Okay. You work in an organization where you have to. What if I work in an organization where I have to be locked in 9 to 6? If I were to integrate cycling, do you have any tips?
Yes, actually, because I have worked in organizations like that where I have taken up gymming. So in that case, even now, right? Even though my flexibility is there, sometimes I cannot take up morning cycling because I may have to go meet a client or I have a morning calls and all. So I may have to skip my cycling. So that doesn't mean that I don't go for cycling. I integrate into after office hours, which means I even go for cycling in the evening because I have gone 100 kilometers cycling in the evenings as well.
Okay.
So possibly you see what time fits you, because even if you were to lock in a 9 to 6 workplace, sometimes you can still go an hour of gym or any activity that you can do, come back to work and then continue, or perhaps you can start after offices also. Or if you are an early bird, you can still finish your morning routine like workouts, then you can come to office as well.
What you're telling me is, instead of giving excuse of this is the work time that I have, so choose something that you want to do even if you hate to do it. Right? So pick up something that you're obsessed with. So you will find time.
See, when you start complaining, you will find opportunities opening up for you.
Saying, if I'm complaining about, oh, I don't have time for doing this, then most probably you've picked up something that you don't like much.
Exactly.
Okay. What aspirations do you have professionally as a coach?
As a coach, my next level I am thinking of going to more like a person who works with organizations, executives, suggesting building an organization with proper behavior approach setup. So I am studying organizational behavior and I am into research. So I am working with the person who is guiding me on studying about organizational behavior and research. That would probably
So something that was challenging is what you have picked up as next level.
So just like I told you, Scrum Master was my first level curiosity, and that led to me to become an agile coach next. So probably I want to see what's next, working with the top level executives and such.
Okay. What are the aspirations in your cycling life?
Cycling is quite easy. So I have done 220 kilometers so far. That's my, I would say, the best of best. So next I am challenging myself to 150 miles. That's close to 240 plus kilometers. If I am able to do that, then I am quite challenged that my next would be 200 miles.
Okay, let me challenge you on air. So you need to go from Manali to Leh, which is I think around 400 kilometers. I'd like you to pick that up as a challenge whenever you can.
Sure, I will. Yeah. First, I am planning to come to office from my home. So that would be my first challenge. 350.
Maybe in next few
I will finish that first. Then I am ready for it.
Okay, so here is another curious question. Your consistency is missing in cycling. You put in your whole heart out, but I don't see that is consistent over a period of time. Is that a strategic thing or something else?
Sometimes, as I told you, life priorities do come up as well, because we may not choose what we want to do. Sometimes we have to give it up for like our kids and spouses, and we may have to sometimes sacrifice things. So that way, if I have to spend time on work plus family, my cycling takes a toll. So I compensate sometimes by taking up gym. So I work out as much as I can so that I can prepare my legs.
If you were to give one word of advice to aspiring coaches, not necessarily in agility, aspiring coaches, what would be your advice?
Aspiring coaches, first thing I would say is work inwards. So rather than starting to say that I want to help people, first help yourselves. Without helping yourself, you cannot help anybody else. So it's a residual thing that holds you back always. So you have to clear those residues out, whatever is holding you yourself up. So work inwards. By helping yourself, you are automatically helping others.
So that's a great advice. What are the words of advice for cyclists?
Cyclists?
Aspiring cyclists.
Get on the cycle first, I would say. Most people want to be a cyclist, but they don't want to wake up in the morning. So find some time in the evening or whenever you find fit, even for lunchtime, if you could go for an half an hour cycle and come back, it's up to you. But get on the cycle. But just by sitting in home, you cannot be a cyclist.
Bum on the saddle.
Always.
Okay, so thank you very much for enlightening us with your insights. If people want to reach out to you, where can they reach out to you?
They can reach any of my social handles, or you can just mail me to vivek@linkpitch.com. I'm always available.
So we will leave them in the show notes, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, Satish.
you.